Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. At least it's morning for me. Something popped up on my feed recently that I've been talking about for a little while now, and whether or not we all agree that it's an inevitability, it is a reality that we are facing right now, and it's being directly reflected in the PC consumer market. So, NVIDIA recently released a statement that they are going to shift their focus away from consumer GPU development in 2026 by roughly 30 to 40%. Now, what does this mean for PC gaming? Well, I don't know. We're all already aware that consumer RAM prices have gone through the roof since Micron shut down. They were the largest or one of the largest producers of consumer RAM, and the fact that they have decided to get out of that business has radically changed that market. There is a tremendous shortage, if you will, of consumer memory, RAM memory in general, to the point to where prices have tripled, quadrupled. It's completely unaffordable to buy RAM right now. It was the same thing that happened a few years ago with graphics cards. They shot through the roof, nobody could afford to buy them, etc. Well, now here we are on the verge of the same thing happening again, and this is really a twofold thing. For one, the reason that NVIDIA has stated that they are going to shift their focus away from this is because of the memory shortage. It's too expensive to acquire the memory and therefore too expensive to build the cards. They would have to charge a significant amount more money to obtain them. But two, and probably the bigger point, is that NVIDIA has made it known that they are no longer a consumer gaming company. They're not a gaming company in general at all anymore. They used to be a few years ago, and everybody still more or less identifies NVIDIA with gaming, but NVIDIA has stated that they are an AI company. Their primary focus going forward is AI infrastructure. Now, of course, everyone is already flooding to the internet stating that PC gaming is dead, goodbye PC gaming, so long PC master race, and to some degree that may be true. It's going to be difficult to continue to be a PC gamer or a PC enthusiast if prices continue to rise like this for the foreseeable future. It's going to be really hard to upgrade. Fortunately for me, I have a pretty decent rig already that's been upgraded as of this year, but I will continue to want to upgrade it, and as newer games come out that require more processing power, it will continue to need to be upgraded to some degree. This is the advantage consoles have, and it's the advantage that consoles always have had, is that you get what you get and you don't really need to touch it beyond that. Now, that does come with its own limitations. There's less accessibility to the wider, broader market of games that are available, and you don't really get much customization in the way that the game runs or how far you could push that game in terms of performance. PCs allow for this. Of course, they come with their own myriad of problems. But if you're a console player, I wouldn't consider yourself out of the woods. Consoles, after all, are really just small computers. Yes, you're not responsible for setting them up or customizing all the parameters through which they run, but consoles require RAM. Consoles require CPUs. They require graphics cards to be able to run the games that you play at 4K 60 frames a second. So, if the prices of memory go up, if the prices of building cards go up, and the main manufacturers that do those things are either closing or removing that part of their company entirely, well then everything that requires those components is going to go up, including consoles. A lot of people are referring to this as the AI bubble, and it's going to become, it already kind of is becoming a bit of a problem in the tech space, and that's just because everything is leaning toward AI. Everything is leaning toward building data centers that support AI. All of this power and energy that's required, the massive scale that these things have to be built upon, it's going to cause some issues, man. And I've said this before for a while. I've said it in multiple videos that I've recorded over the last few months, that there is and will be a shift coming in the way that consumer computing takes place. I always reference it from the lens of gaming because that's what I do, but just in general, if AI continues to advance and become a priority the way that that it is, then the day very well may come where having a desktop computer, having a laptop, having all of this hardware, all of these things, it's just not there anymore. They're going to stop producing it, or they're going to make it so expensive that it's just unaffordable, unattainable. And what they'll do is they'll create a solution to the problem, which is probably the best business strategy there is, right? Create the problem, then create the solution. And everything that you do from hardware to software will be cloud-based. It will be AI-driven, where you will either pay for a specific tier or you will pay a monthly fee for a specific tier that allows you to access whatever it is you're trying to do through the cloud. And I'm not saying that this is something I want. I'm not even saying that this is something that 100% sure will happen, but it's all leading toward that. Now, if this bubble bursts, right, and it all just sort of comes collapsing back down, well, then we may have a little bit of a renaissance in the tech space. But this is where these companies are moving toward. This is what the actions they're taking are indicating. They're deliberately separating themselves from the consumer market, from the public market, and investing the majority of their resources into AI, data centers, infrastructure, engineering, all of it. So these plans are all leading toward that outcome. What that means for people like you and I don't know. It remains to be seen. It's going to get rocky. There's certainly not going to be anything that I'm going to do to my PC for quite some time now, because I just can't afford to do it. And if you're a person who's looking to game and has thought about getting into PC gaming, I would suggest that you make that move right now for as affordable as you can possibly find it, because it's not going to do anything but go up. If you're happy with console gaming, then good, sit right where you are. But again, don't think that this isn't going to touch you either. The PlayStation 6, the next Xbox that are in development, these are going to affect those consoles. It's going to be harder for them to develop cards for, chips for, memory for. And what that'll do is it'll drive up the price and it'll create a shortage where you'll have a shipment of PlayStations and Xboxes that come in that are sold out almost immediately for double the price. So it's going to affect anything that hardware touches. Fortunately for us PC folks, with good enough hardware, you can usually adjust the parameters of your game to be able to get away with using something that's not so new. Again, it's one of the advantages that PC has over console, where you're kind of just stuck with what you've got on PlayStation or Xbox, and if the games that release aren't optimized or made for it at all, then you can't really do anything about it. You have to just upgrade the whole system. That's not to say that our experience over here is inherently better, because when you have to downgrade a game to such a degree that it's basically a PS2 version of that game because your hardware can't keep up and you can't buy new hardware because it's so expensive, you're forced into a similar bottleneck. Either way, these types of decisions aren't going to do anything but make being a content creator or a gamer harder to do. So we'll just have to see what happens, folks. I would expect there to be a resurgence of a black market-esque type of thing going on, just like there was during COVID with freaking hand sanitizer, where people who can just start buying up all the graphics cards, buying up all the RAM, whatever, and then reselling it. Wouldn't surprise me at all. I know there are systems and policies in place to try to help prevent that kind of thing from happening, but it usually always does when this type of market fluctuation hits and occurs and affects something at scale. And this tech AI space is a massive scale. I think AI has a tremendous amount of benefit that it can add to society in almost every capacity. It could greatly enhance our quality of life down the line, but it also causes a lot of problems on the front end and, potentially on the back end that we're not aware of yet as well, because we still don't really have any idea of where this is going to go and how it's going to evolve and develop and how we're going to ultimately control it and regulate it. So AI is an ever ongoing love-hate relationship, but when I see things like this, it's definitely a bummer, especially for somebody who's adopted a PC and upgraded a PC for several years now. If I wanted to stream, I could easily just get an external capture card, whatever, and do it that way, and my PC would still be plenty capable of handling at least the streams while I gamed on the console. But ultimately, I don't want to do that. I want to game on the PC because I enjoy the freedom and flexibility that it gives me. So is this the end of PC gaming? Is it time to buy a PlayStation 5 or a new Xbox? Is it time to give in to the AI overlords and just throw our hands up in the air and say that I'm done? I don't know. It's probably too soon to tell. For all we know, this may not be something that even happens. Perhaps another manufacturer comes along to pick up the slack, or something occurs to make this a little less hard of a hit. Either way, it's going to be something that we have to keep up with, because this is going to affect a lot of industries in tech. It's going to affect us, you and me, the casual at-home gamer or content creator who relies on a PC to create content, edit, game, all of that good stuff. Let me know what you guys think about these types of decisions. Do you support the AI movement? Is cloud-based something that you're open to? Most people aren't, but either way, it's a future that's staring us in the face and it's not looking away.